this episode, we're joined by Marcus Hecht Henriksen from Lobyco to unpack why being dynamic, real-time, and personal is no longer optional for retailers. We're drawing on insights from the Great Retail Reckoning, which is a white paper sort of exploring what true personalisation really looks like and where retailers can realistically start without overcomplicating things. Kia ora, I'm Carolyn Young, Chief Executive of Retail NZ, and today I'm joined by Marcus Hecht Henriksen, who's the Vice President of Asia Pacific with Lobyco. Welcome, Marcus.
Hello, good to see you.
The Great Retail Reckoning, you argue that being dynamic, real-time and personal is now essential for retailers. What's changed in customer expectations that makes this shift unavoidable for retailers rather than it being optional?
I think the big thing that has actually changed is that customers experience relevancy through the whole digital life now. So the digital is just going up. Everybody knows that. And that is something that the customers are also picking up on. And now it's everywhere and you need to get onto that journey. So I think because you start having loyalty programs, you start sharing the data through their journeys and they are used to that and fine with that. Now they also expect something on the other side, and that is the relevancy and the personalization. It is simply that the customers have grown to be used to have that convenience, brands understanding their needs, and showing those needs in the moment that matters for the customer, because the customers has less and less time. So now they actually want to have that time being used in the right way for all retailers, not only the big ones who have done it before. So I think the last thing would be here that if you are, as a retailer, using your old data, so from a week ago or for even a month ago, or it could even be days ago, then you are behind. You need to be able to use the data when the people are down in the store or when they are searching in their app or when they are on an online platform. That is where they are. And when they are there, you need to hit them. Because if you do it in a week's time or a month time later, then you have lost them. You have missed that opportunity of actually talking with the customers.
As a consumer, our expectations have risen, haven't they? We expect more because we know that people have our data and our information, and we all get, we're all signed up to lots of retail programs and we get a whole lot of generic communications and engagement from our retailers. In the report, you challenge what personalisation really means. And I think this is really important. And many retailers think that personalisation is about sending different offers to different groups. But you say that personalisation is about responding to customers in the moment. Can you share like a few simple sort of real world examples of what that might look like to just give a retailer an opportunity to think about how that could play out in their store?
Yeah, so sure. So of course there are so many different examples of these things, but I think it's always good to take it down a level or just give some few examples so people, okay, this is what it means. It could mean several other things, but I think I've just chosen some examples that I use when I talk with retailers. So the first thing is next visit triggers. So I think one of the really, really good things around having the data and being able to activate it is that if you have a customer who, let's say it's Caroline, who are used to come to your store, and then for some reason, last few days or even could be weeks, you haven't been there. So maybe you are starting to be a lapsing customer or something like that. Then having that timely nudge of actually giving you an offer and saying, Caroline, we really want you to get back to the store. Here is a great offer. Here is a challenge you can start using. So that you are telling the customer, we are seeing you, we are missing you, we want you back, and this is what we want to reward you with. I think that is the cases I like the most. The next thing is, one of the things that I really like is when you have the data, you can also be very timely of when you're giving customers offers. So let's say you are in the store. Now I'm in my favorite grocery store. I picked up my app. I'm going around surfacing for what I need to buy. And I'm standing in one category. And then exactly at that moment, because we know you're standing there, we know you're searching. You could even be in your shopping list and we know you are looking up for whatever type of category. Then we give you an offer there. We know that you are in a buying moment and we know that there's an offer for you just in the category you're standing. Let's give you that offer just there. So you're exactly in your buying moment, the best, most valuable moment in your whole journey, and giving that offer there really, really means a lot. So that in-store engagement is super important. I think the last example I also really like a lot of our convenience clients, so fuel stations and such, where you have a loyalty program, you're standing out with the fuel station, you're at the pump, you're fueling up, and exactly at that moment, we're telling you there is a good coffee offer, there is something else in the store, and you get it right as you're standing there, and you, oh, okay, that is a nice personalized offer for me. So instead of paying, driving out, you actually go into the store and buy something there. So you add that extra traffic to the store, which is something that is super important for a convenience retailer. So I think those three examples that are very easy to understand, but it requires you have the data, you are able to activate it in the moment that matter. And that is for me personalization. You can do a lot of segmentation, but usually that segmentation is based on last week's performance. Or what you really need to do is every time somebody doing the exact moment, you need to hit them with something. And that is what personalization is for me.
And depending on what retailer you are, so what part of the sector you're in, whether you're a garden centre or whether you're a grocer or whether you're an apparel provider or a DIY, will depend on how frequent you expect customers to come into your store and the sort of times they'll come in. I can imagine with a garden centre, for example, there's certain times of the year that it's really important to come in because there's seasonal things that you'll plant or you'll prune or you'll fertilise or you'll spray, etc. So, making sure that you can tailor your solutions to your sector is really important because, in a grocery, you might go quite often during the week. You might go more than once a week, you might go every second day or something like that. But in other stores, it might be once a week or once a month. So understanding part of what you're expecting to see would feed into that process, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what is really important when you start building these journeys, you need to understand what moments are the most important for our customers. So that can be very different, but the model is the same. So it is that you need to define those moments and then you build the journeys that then triggers when these
Yeah.
things happen. That can happen every half year, it can happen every week, depending on the frequency of the customer. But the important stuff is that you trigger something when it happens, because that is where you feel that, okay, now actually that data I'm giving is useful. I'm getting something out of it and I can see the retailers using it for something.
Perfect. And look, you talk about personalization, automation, and AI. It can all sound quite intimidating, right? Especially for smaller retailers with, limited time and resources. In the report, you talk about taking things step by step, which is sort of what you've just outlined, rather than thinking you're going to do everything at once. So,
Yeah.
what's a realistic starting point for retailers who want to improve the customer experience without overcomplicating things to start with?
Yeah, so I think that is my favorite question actually. So I think a lot of retailers, as you're saying, are so scared of this because it sounds like such a big task. So the most important thing is, of course, to get going on the journey to get that data in so you can start using the data. So you need to have a loyalty program. That is the first sort of base layer. To get the data in so you can start using it. But I think what is very important for me, I have always been a really, really big fan of incremental change. So what is the most important thing you need to do is you need to figure out some use cases that can create some value very quickly, but you can also test them and learn from that. So I always give a good example of segmented loyalty offers or these win-back journeys. That is good cases that you can start rather easy with, and then you can learn from that. And then some of the stuff can be manual in the beginning because it's more the learning that is important. So you sort of get in, you find the use cases, you start on a journey. Maybe something of it is a little bit manual, and then you start adding to it. So you start adding, prove the impact, and then after a year, half year, 2 years, you can actually see the journey you have been, and then you are at that golden phase where everything is activated, everything is real time. You're acting on all the moments that matters, but just getting going on that one moment that matter is super important. And it's way more important than filling out the whole thing from the beginning because you'll never get there. It's so much more important to start somewhere and build from that because that test and learn phase is what actually really matters.
So just one step at a time, I think, is what I'm hearing from you, but get started, I think, is really also important. And three things I wrote down were like engaging loyalty, powerful promotions, and proven results. That's what Lobyco is all about. So thank you so much, Marcus, for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you and hear how Lobyco is able to support retail businesses looking to boost their customer engagement and loyalty.
Thank you for inviting me, Caroline. This has been really fun.
Fantastic. Look, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode and don't forget to visit www.lobyco.com to find out more. That's Lobyco.com This was part of our
Okay.
Empowering Retail series, your go-to resource for short, actionable insights to take your business to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and look out for more episodes. But until next time, ka kite anō. Bye for now.